Thank you for the wonderful, generous introduction. Let me tell you that this here, just by listening to you all, I am going to present something that I am currently working on, my latest research on the women dependents who are coming to the United States on H4 visa. So this is so kind of very much focusing on immigrants, and that too the gender aspect I will bring in. I have studied the immigrant situation, migrant situation in India. I've been doing research on the immigrant women for the last 30 years, myself being an immigrant woman. And I landed here and started being a social anthropologist. I started working on my kind of people coming from my part of India, from Odisha, and who have settled here, about 40,000 people in the United States. But I have been studying the women's identity making here in the Bay Area in California. But for this purpose, thank you, Sadanand, Professor Sadanand, that for giving me this opportunity. I want to bring in my new research. So can I? So as we all know, the Western world has been created with the contributions of the non-Western people from Asia. And now that we know that kind of notorious achievement that the United States has made with the mostly the techies, that since the 1990s, the Indian techies are the kind of the tech experts coming to United States. So of course, they're bringing in all kinds of skills, but also at the same time, USA is putting all kinds of restrictions to control immigration. As you all know, in the 21st century, with the attack of COVID, now migration has completely stopped. So here, my issue is that kind of, with these restrictions, what kind of gender norms that United States is imposing, that it is supposed to be a kind of, that a world that promotes equity, promotes kind of, equanimity and merit. But I see that there has been tremendous discrimination when it comes to the visa situation. So one such case is what United States is doing to the partner spouses of the techies who are coming or have come to the United States on what the state calls H-1B visa and H-4 visa. So H-1B visa is the kind of, that the people who come on temporary visa to work here, and that kind of, mainly to now these multinational corporations like Google, Facebook, and I can go on Zoom, what we are using. So this is again being totally kind of supported by the Indian techies. And interestingly, that the women that are coming in as dependents, they are mostly very highly educated professionals, but they are not kind of able to work here. They sign a contract that when these techies come, that their spouses would not be able to work. And they are bringing in, and this imagine, think about it, we have been talking about restrictions, I'll talk about COVID situation. Imagine these educated professionals like each one of us here, they become overnight dependents. And their dependency brings in no driver's license, they cannot drive. And their dependency brings in no bank account, they cannot have a bank account. Their dependency brings in no credit card, and complete lack of mobility. And I have been talking to many of these women, especially now. So now what is happening, that these women become completely dependents.
Madam,
and
you can close this so that
that you can see me.
Yes.
Okay. Then I go back to the, sorry that for the, that I do not know how do I go back to full screen. You know, I have become I am teaching on Zoom now, but I'm still very technical. Can you all see me now or no?
We can see, but the screen is.
Oh my, okay. I have stopped sharing.
Now it's okay. Now it's fine. Now it's fine.
Good. So what I did, I stopped sharing. So that's why. Okay, good. I stopped sharing my screen. So what is happening that these women, that there has been a tremendous kind of disparity here. These women are not able to work. Now in the USA, there are over 4 million people of Indian origin. and the India-born population is about 3 million. So, because according to the Census Bureau, so around 3/4 of the India-born in the USA had arrived in the previous 2 decades. But they have done extremely well because their family income is per capita is $93,000 compared to other immigrant groups. So they have been very successful. But here I'm bringing you the unsuccessful stories. That kind of the disparity, the vulnerabilities, the precarities of these women who are coming as the skilled workers. They are kind of very educated professionals, and their precarious situation. So the new group are distinctly identified by education and occupation. They have advanced degrees in computers, engineering, and related technology disciplines than perhaps any other international migrant stream at any other time. So they constitute about here 10% of the American labor force in fields as I just mentioned. So this H-1B and H-4 visa, what does it mean? I'm sure many of you know these high skilled workers migrate for employment on skilled worker visa, H-1B, and their spouses migrate on dependent visas, H-4. So the dependent or the H-4 visa restricts the spouses to find legal employment or possess a social security number. Hence, all the restrictions. And interestingly, that these educated women are very skilled. I was talking to a woman yesterday because I have been interviewing that she's an architect, and here out of 3, she kind of, because she was dependent, she came here from a high-flying job in Mumbai. Here she is a dependent. And the first year they got married, she kind of developed all sorts of health issues because overnight she becomes a dependent. And when she gets an H-4, now Obama government in 2015, President Obama's government introduced a very interesting initiative that's called the H-4 EAD. So that means that they can, now these dependent women can work as dependents, but there is a kind of a catch here. Who can apply, who can go for this job? If their husbands have also been selected for green card, that if their company has sponsored them for green card, then only they will get the H-4 EAD. And the green card may take a whole lifetime. Think about it. So, but with the H-4 EAD, they can apply for a job. So I was talking to this woman, this architect. She said that out of 300 candidates, the kind of her company chose her because she works on green building, and she is one of the most kind of qualified persons, more specialized. But at the same time, every moment she is worrying that with the COVID attack, now present Trump government, that who is a very popular one in India, unfortunately, sorry, I'm saying this. So the Trump, anytime they can just get rid of this H-4 EAD in the name of make America great again. As you all know, in the United States today, with the COVID attack, there are about now, there is 50% unemployment, 15. So about 50 million people are unemployed, which is never heard of since depression, that this is something kind of unheard of, which has happened. And now the Trump government has every reason kind of, has the kind of, justification to get rid of these H-4 EAD. So the vulnerabilities, what I'm kind of explaining with the COVID attack. So we see that what's kind of what is happening to these women. Many studies, because in today's presentation I've been listening to the victim status with the migrant situation, with their kind of the multiple vulnerabilities. But I want to use a different lens here. I'm kind of, I'm bringing in a kind of a vitality among these women. What amazes me that in many cases, these women, that even though United States is really emphasizing the visa, is shaping the family structures and familial relationship for these high-tech workers by reinforcing a patriarchal family form with the man as the breadwinner and the woman as the homemaker. The private sector labor market is benefiting at the cost of the well-being of migrant families. Think about it, that when a woman is not well, we talk about that, that kind of, the woman's role in the family, for self and family. So in my preliminary study, I agree with other researchers that who are saying that yes, women are the victims, that women are developing kind of, the victimhood. But I want to emphasize, even under this COVID attack, the H4 visa holder women are developing a coalition and have formed the kind of, visa holder network groups on Facebook and other media groups, that and now in the Zoom meetings, that and they are that kind of, and for support and organizing. In this study, I refrain myself from treating these women as victims of patriarchal values created by the USA visa system. Rather, they rise to become game players in order to make the most of the situation and create various opportunities for themselves when all the doors for them are closed. Because I think this is where I find that's where the crux of my research is. That just to come back to, like, I can go on this H4 visa holder spouses. Who are they? They are absolutely that kind of, imagine that when with being highly qualified when they come here. So this visa, H4 visa, is dubbed as the depression visa. Think about it. So the depression visa and the prisoner visa, or the kind of, very much, since the women who are often highly qualified and the work experience become frustrated and depressed, that in the traditional housewife role, how long will they? So because many of these women have been telling me that they're jealous of their husbands going to work, because when they are staying home, they cannot simply, they find just going to work, that kind of, that, oh, I cannot go, why cannot I go, that kind of, imagine comparing their life before. And that it also affects their self-confidence, their idea of self-worth, constrains them financially, disables them in social settings, and provides no opportunities to build economic or human capital and skill sets, of course. So, and the precarity, I can go on. And especially with now, you must have read that now, since kind of, that with the job situation, that unemployment, who are expanded or who are expandable? These H1B visa people. And imagine, they really need only 60 days, that they only have 60 days to be re-employed. If not, they're deported. So it is not just the women, what happens to their children? That kind of, just, so it's a kind of, vicious circle, that what is being created here in the United States. So I can go on, but so the precarity, but I just have
to
1 minute.
wrap up, Professor
Okay,
Pandey.
so I do not want to go over the case studies, but let me just kind of, wrap up in 1 minute. So the constraints are many. The patriarchal values and conventional gender relationships are reinforced. And numerous cases of domestic violence, family conflict, separation, and to the kind of, also extent divorce. Women being isolated from their familial support system, and this kind of, this unequal relationship is created. So the deep shame and failure and so on. So my conclusion that here I want to bring, and with the COVID situation, that based on my several in-depth interviews, I observed that except for a handful, a majority of these professional women, especially with the EAD status, want to continue and fight against the present visa system. Many of these women have filed petition to the local congressmen and women to extend their EAD and fight against this Trump rule and the kind of, the policy, since this workshop is also on policy, and to extend their ESC and expedite their H1B. Also, several Facebook pages have been introduced for networking among the H4 visa people, and also films have been made. I'm interviewing many of them. And now 4 members of Congress are of Indian origin. 3 of them in very, very visible, powerful committees. They are building coalition to represent these women at the highest level. So groups like this H1B, H4 visa, EAD holders, Facebooks are very, very active. Women are carving out niche, like, that they're becoming professional dancers and musicians, creating kind of, space for themselves. So my conclusion is this, that the development of new patriarchy to control and subjugate highly educated professional immigrant women by restricting their economic freedom. This is what Foucault had in mind when he introduced governmentality. Imposing normative gender role. The irony is that these transnational women left India to escape patriarchy. Now they are forced into a new world, new kind. Building coalition with the political leaders of Indian origin who are visible in order to articulate the grievances they have against the state. Through Facebook groups, they are creating support groups of people like them. And these groups act as surrogate family where they freely discuss their problems and are supported by various members to find solution to their problems. Thank you so much.